go ahead and pay before we approve things. We are, that's the only thing, so, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything else on the consent agenda? Okay, if there's nothing further under the consent agenda, the floor is open for a motion to approve the consent agenda with the, one item being withdrawn. Have a motion by Councilwoman Prezak, a second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Beatty, all in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Item for individual consideration. Number 4, discussion and consider approval of Venus Country Store final plat and construction plan as presented by Michael Evans. You here tonight? So, we're going to take no action on this item. No action on number 4. Huh? Oh, Number 5, discussion and consider approval of zoning change request by Josh Brooks for the 50-acre tract of land from agriculture to manufactured homes subdivision district MHS-1. Now, we've had 2 public hearings on this. We've heard from the public, pros and cons. I think one of the biggest, in my opinion, cons was everybody was afraid that it was going to end up like trailer houses out north of town, that's what we call Mansfield South or Homestead. Well, they are not in the Venus city limits, so they're not subject to our ordinances or our codes. Or our code enforcement. Now, we've had codes for years, but we had no code enforcement officer, which we do now, so they are much more stringently enforced than they ever have been since I've been on council. So I believe if this is passed, and if it is built, I understand this is just the first step of many steps, flats, engineering plans, drainage engineering, and so on. But anyway, this is zoning request is granted, and if this is built, and I don't think we'll ever allow it to look anything like that. So I think that fear is unfounded. The MHS-1 ordinance is pretty inclusive, and it covers a lot of territory, such as how the mobile homes must be erected, fencing. It talks about a wall. I mean, one gentleman was worried about his land behind there. It talks about a wall in there. I don't know if y'all had a chance to read this ordinance. Citizens hadn't. You can go on the Venus website and read it. But it talks about an engineered wall, so it would stand the test of time. There was a lot more in there as far as what was required, but I believe it would be a nice park if it is built. Now, during the public hearings, we also heard several other comments and worries, and I think supposed Mr. Josh Brooks addressed those. But I would, if a motion is made to grant this zoning change, I would like that some of those assurances he made be put into the motion so it would be legal and binding, such as he said only 30 acres of the 50-acre tract would be used for pad size, the rest would be parks, streets, support buildings. That they would redo the road from the stop sign at 109 to the south edge of their property. That they would pay for and have installed a water tap between the city of Venus and the Mountain Peak water system an automatic flow valve, two-way flow valve. It's basically for water protection out there. City wouldn't be responsible for that. Several people mentioned a well that was on the property. I believe it should be in the motion to cap that well by whatever Texas state water standards. And the only other thing I think was a major concern to most of the citizens was bringing in too many homes at one time and overloading the roads and the school system. So if we put a cap of, say 50 homes per year maximum, they can bring in 12 or 30, but maximum 50 per year once an OC and occupancy certificate is issued. And that would be well over a year from now by the time they did the infrastructure, the roads, the sewer, all this other infrastructure. It would be well over a year. So it's a right, profit, 18 months. So then you're talking about from there to say July 1st or August 1st of 2017, was that date in 2018, the maximum of 50 homes. And then from that date, 2018 to 2019, 50 more. So that would give the school time to adapt. It would give time in TxDOT to get this road expansion to the town and possibly get our 214 road built, which would alleviate the traffic concerns. Because whether this goes through or not, there's going to be development out there, and there's going to be increased traffic, so the roads are going to have to be fixed. We just got to do it in a manner that's not going to be totally disruptive, whatever goes in out there. And this won't be the last development out that way, so there's that to be considered. Mr. Brooks handed out a handout which pretty much covers most of what I just said. So I was just saying, I think it needs, if the council so desires to do this, I believe that it should be in the minutes, so our building inspector Ed will have some written documentation of what to hold the developer to. So Mr. Brooks is here tonight in case anybody has any questions for him. I'm going to start off with Councilwoman Ms. Jeannie Praise. You got questions or comments?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Wood? Councilwoman Scott?
Yeah, have you considered the people that you'll be renting to out there, how they're gonna feel about living that close to the prison?
I started this 2.5 years ago. And I started with a lot of advertising, a lot of informational things on Craigslist that I would put on what most manufactured housing people do. They look for renters and things on Craigslist, and I put a list of what everything has been out there. And for the past 2 years, I've been getting phone call after phone call about when we're going to start this park. No one has any equivocations about this, about the prison that's out there. It hasn't been an issue ever, I don't believe, in years, and I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Well, I think it makes contraband easier to get into the prison if the families are living that close. And my fear is that some of those people that are contacting you are families of the inmates that house out there.
Well, the good thing about being so close to the park is I've done advertising at the prison also. I've talked to the major at the prison.
You talked to the major?
To the major. I've talked to the major. I've talked to some of the other workers there, and a lot of them are excited about the park coming because they want to be able to live closer also.
So the major wants to live closer?
Well, I talked to him about what I was doing.
Ah.
He didn't have an issue. He didn't have a problem with it, but he was excited for a lot of his people that did live far away, didn't have anywhere to rent.
The staff?
The staff, and so they were excited about the park being right down the street. So you'll have a lot of them being there. I don't think that the park brings contraband. I think that's just an old school kind of stereotype about mobile parks.
What's the major's name? you talk
I
to?
do not remember. I know that was about a month or two ago when we first started the hearing.
Okay. Do you manage the property yourself?
We will have a professional management company.
Okay.
Manage the property.
And you manage they manage the same properties in Midlothian, in Mansfield?
I manage several properties in Mansfield. Actually, I work for a large conglomerate, a guy who owns 30 mobile home parks, and I work for him for the state of Texas as his sales manager for the state of
As a
Texas.
sales manager. And one of those properties is Silverleaf?
No.
Silverleaf?
No,
It's
it
not one of
wasn't
the
Silverleaf, no.
That's all the questions I have.
Councilman Hernandez?
I don't have questions.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm good.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Brooks. Like I say, I know there's a lot of stereotype, issues with the mobile homes, but people, we can't discriminate against certain housing. I mean, whether it be, well, we don't want apartments, or we don't want duplexes, or we don't want this or that. I mean, if we're doing this new zoning plan, we have to accommodate all different zoning. If we don't, as a council, a judge will. Now, I'm not saying this developer would sue us, but sooner or later somebody will, and they're going, and I'd rather this council decide where it goes than some judge. Let's not put it out on 67 by paper states or over there by the Cowboy Church or down there by the better location that I would rather see it at, as long as these criteria are met. Now, without these criteria, then I like the city, I don't let the city be covered, and I couldn't recommend it, but with all the assurances, if it's in the motion that they've made, I can recommend that, as mayor, that we approve this zoning change and move forward with this. So that's my personal recommendation. So there's no other further comments. Floor is open for a motion to approve the zoning change from agricultural to manufactured home subdivision district MHS-1. No motion is made, then the issue will die for lack of a motion. Okay, the issue is dead for lack of a motion, then we'll take no action on that, and we'll move on to the next agenda item. Discussion and consider approval of request for civic center fee waiver in the approximate amount of $3,040, estimating 4 annual events by Tiffany Davis in the Chamber of Commerce. Ms. Davis?
Ms. Davy.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I request that the chamber gets the bathrooms for the rest of the events for the year, including this weekend's Antique Alley for free.
So Antique Alley is a 3-day event, right?
Yes,
And it will be a 3-day event in the fall, correct?
yes, in September.
So then you're also talking about Christmas on the Square, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then
Fall Festival.
so we're still having a fall festival?
Yes, sir, in October. And in June, we're also having a hometown celebration.
Hometown celebration. So,
And those are one-day events.
let's talk about June.
I have the dates for you. Antique Alley is April 15th, 16th, and 17th. Hometown Celebration is June 11th. Antique Alley in September is the 16th, 17th, and 18th. The chili cook-off and fall festival is October 15th, and then Christmas on the Square is December 10th.
Talking 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dates.
Yes, yes, sir.
Well, as we've discussed in the past, the Chamber of Commerce does a lot of great work for the city, such as, and we've granted waivers to the Girl Scouts, which does great work with the Girl Scouts in the school. It's just, gotta make sure that everyone understands that, we're not just giving it away for free, we're deferring the cost to somewhere else, so as long as the council's good with that, then that would be, their decision. Any questions, Ms. Fraser?
I had the county last year, didn't the city and the chamber or the council and the chamber did.
Yes,
one place.
it is.
I don't have a problem with, hometown celebration, fall festival, and Christmas on the Square, waiting the things, but, I do, the Nancy Alley, you're talking about $140 for April, $140 for September. What did it cost to get the porta potties last year?
So what was the porta potty cost? Probably.
I think it cost 600, we paid about 300 each. Falling somewhere. And we ended up with way too many, so we could actually get half of it, it's free.
Well, it depends on how big it grows, if it gets bigger and bigger, we might need more, but if it stays about the same this time, then maybe we did get too much.